Welcome to the Matrix Q podcast for the Golden Triangle of Entrepreneurship, the GTE tool.
Along the last 2 centuries, profit has been guiding entrepreneurship. Today, the question that we all entrepreneurs and innovators ask ourselves is, where is the value of our action, of our success? We needed, as humanity, to reach the point of natural resource depletion, millions of species extinct, waste, and climate change, for us to consider the need of a transformation, of an evaluation of our values and principles and operating guidelines. It is important that we reflect on these points and that we think on what is the value of what we do and the impact we create for future generations. And in that matter, I would like to tell you a story, to bring you back in time, to think about those years in which humanity was learning to survive, in which you, alone or with your family, will arrive to a forest with promising natural resources, with food, water, and you will need to work hard to transform all of those resources in your shelter, in your property, in your wealth, in your source of food. You will need to learn with neighbors, with wild animals, with weather, with the seasons of the year, and understand how everything works around you. The concept of wealth at a time was more related to survival, to our ability to create shelter, food, health, security, safety, and therefore a relative happiness to the ones we care for, our tribe, our community, our family. If we don't have soil, if we don't have a piece of land where to grow our own crops, how can we live? If we don't have access to water and food, how can we ensure the quality of our life for future, for our children today? If we do not have knowledge, if we don't have resources, if we do not have the ability to understand nature, how can we create the necessary tools that will help us solve the challenges we face? If we have no ability for creativity, for innovation, for strategic thinking, how can we face challenges and transform difficult situations into positive opportunities? If we are not able to manage our emotions, our mindset and perception of the situations we face, of the circumstances we face, how can we stand uncertainty, change, and complexity? We need to be able to gather information and organize information for us to make decisions. We need to be able to understand the situation we find ourselves. So along this journey in the forest, humanity has learned to understand how nature works, has learned to create tools, as well to manage its own fears. In that context, every individual value was that one of the contribution to the survival of the community. In our context today, is also important that every individual of our community cares for the survival of the whole community, of the whole species. When a social entrepreneur and an impact agent is facing challenges, the best thing we can do is to contribute and collaborate, because of the impact that this individual and his team or her team can create in the world. Collaboration can take many forms, from monetary support to knowledge resources and activities, access to network. But in principle, collaboration means to be there together, to connect, to support, to communicate, to listen, to learn from each other, from each other's challenges. The Matrix Q Alliance for Innovators, our think tank for thinking and behavior change, has exactly that purpose: to gather together experienced entrepreneurs and early innovators and study the challenge of thinking and behavior change as one of our main barriers. The barriers that we have to overcome if we want to accelerate and scale up our impact by addressing global pressing issues. So, an association of people can accelerate a learning curve and help us solve problems earlier. In the same way, the competition we have created for impact agents and social entrepreneurs will help them accelerate the learning curve. To reach that point of maturity, experience, to access and management of tools and knowledge that will help them create more impact earlier. And why time today is so important? Because we have no more than 10 years to 2030 to reach the achievements of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Let's go back to the story of the forest, to the concept of wealth, property and money. If you are in the forest and you need to face a situation of risk, for example, a wild animal that from one moment to the other one could attack you, or a great storm that can destroy the forest and probably the place you live in, or a drought, making as a consequence that there is water scarcity and you have no water to drink or to nurture your crops and grow your food. If any of those events happens without warning or without you noticing, then there is nothing that you can do but damage control. But if on the other side you can predict that those type of events will take place, then you can engage into risk management practices, into prevention practices and strategies. If you have time, then there is so much that you can do. By all means, your ability to listen, to learn, to understand, to adapt yourself is extremely important. So when you're facing this wild animal in the middle of the forest, the first thing you need to remember is how to manage your own emotions, how to manage yourself, how to perceive opportunity, where to find stability for you to make decisions with clarity in your mind. But how to achieve that clarity, how to develop those skills, which are your weaknesses, your strengths, your current abilities, you do not know unless you face a challenge, unless you act, unless you are at the edge of your capacity. And that's why at the Matrix Q Academy, we provide to you a hands-on training for you to bring yourself to the edge of your capacity, of your knowledge, of your skills, of your ability to manage in tools under complex circumstances. The Matrix Q Academy is also the school that all my team is being part of. We are training every day. We create challenges every day for ourselves. Because we really do not know about the future, the challenges that we will have to face together. So it's important for us to have a strong sense of resilience and collaboration and capacity of communication and endurance. And that type of skill, of competences, cannot be developed theoretically by reading books, but only along action, along engagement, along experience and the real circumstances, or simulated circumstances, games. So in that sense, long time ago, when a child was walking on the forest and suddenly found a strange animal that could kill him, by being a child, still naive and ignorant of the risks, pure in his heart and perception of the wild nature in the forest, may not be able to perceive the risk as for what it is. Therefore, the adults have and had a way to instruct children on all of these risks and challenges because they had a lot more experience. But the adults in the time in the tribe didn't know everything that they need to do. There were many tools that were created by young people and next generations. It is the natural way of life. How new generations learn new skills and gather information and develop the ability to solve problems that earlier generations could not predict or perceive. And this is why it is extremely important that the 9 generations listen to each other, from children to senior. It doesn't matter what age you have, your ability to learn, to adapt yourself, to develop, to create new ideas and solutions is going to be there. Maybe your strength, your skills, your capacity of endurance and resilience may change in time. But we all can learn. We all are able to strategize and solve challenges. The Matrix Q, Golden Triangle of Entrepreneurship, will help you in this context to organize your thinking, to do an assessment of your strategy, and to create a balance between your ability to generate wealth, economic growth, and social impact. Impact in sustainability, in circularity, in inclusion, in innovation, aligned to a clear mission statement and purpose. This business tool for strategic management will help you create more impact by understanding the situations you are facing and helping you in a very quick manner design a solution that is more effective and generate the data you need to measure your capacity and the learning curve that you are creating with your learning activities, with your experiences, so that you can improve yourself, optimize your strategies in time. It is the first time that we know about a tool that can generate data about our own performance and behavior and help us improve what we are doing. And this is of extreme value because it will help you save time. And this is how the Matrix Q ecosystem, thanks to a research of more than 27 years, would like to share today with impact agents, with social entrepreneurs, these tools that will help them create more impact.
Welcome to the Matrix Q podcast for the Golden Triangle of Entrepreneurship, the GTE tool.